Today we are going to start the chapter that is organic compounds containing nitrogen compounds, or we also say it as amines. So before we start the session, let me walk you through our Classics website, how to access the revision notes and the test series. So if you click on practice, we are having different packages available here, and since we are discussing about NEET, if we go to NEET Premium, at the top you have the revision notes. So if you click on revision notes, it opens into a new tab, that is our revision notes, and here you have the revision notes chapter wise for the different subject, for your physics, chemistry, biology, and all the chapters which is included for our syllabus. It's a precise note and it would be helpful for you to revise in much lesser time. So when we talk about the chapter that is amines, we say that amines will constitute an important class of your organic compound, and that is actually derived by replacing one or more hydrogen atom by your ammonia, that is hydrogen atom of the ammonia molecule by alkyl or aryl group. So it's very important to note that amines are the derivatives of ammonia, where one, two, or all the three hydrogen atoms get substituted by your alkyl group. It one or all the hydrogen atoms will get substituted by the alkyl group. And basically when we say they in nature, we say where does our amines occur. So in nature we can say that they occur among proteins, vitamins, alkaloids, and your hormones. So basically amines are having very, or we can say a lot of importance in our day-to-day life, like we are using our polymers, drugs, dyestuffs. These are all very important, and it has become the basic need of our day-to-day life. So two biologically active compounds, we say adrenaline and ephedrine, both are containing actually secondary amino group, and this is used to increase the blood pressure. So in the similar way, we can say that amines are organic compounds which is actually derived by replacing your one or more hydrogen atom of ammonia molecule by your alkyl or aryl group. So basically when we say the structure of our amines, it can be your N group, and that can be replaced with your R1, that is your alkyl. So nitrogen atom of amines is trivalent, and this will carry an unshared pair of electrons, and nitrogen orbital of your amines are basically sp3 hybridized, and the geometry of your amines are pyramidal, and each of three sp3 hybridized orbital of your nitrogen will overlap with the orbital of your hydrogen or carbon depending upon the composition of your amines. So because of the unshared pair of electrons, the bond angle which we say is actually less than your 109.5 degree. And in case we are taking it as your trimethylamine, the bond angle will come around 108 degree. So this is the bond angle for your amines group. And when we say the classification, amines are classified as primary, secondary, and tertiary amines. So what are all the base behind classifying as primary amine, secondary amine, and your tertiary amine? So when we say if one hydrogen atom of ammonia is being replaced by R or any of your aryl group, then we say that it is a primary amine. If one hydrogen atom of your ammonia is replaced by R, we say that it is a primary amine. Nitro compounds can be catalytically, it can be reduced by passing your hydrogen gas in the presence of your Na, or you can say it as your Ni. So when we are talking about your primary, secondary and tertiary, primary amine NH3, we can take an example as your RNH2. Secondary amine, 2 hydrogen can be replaced by your R, and tertiary amine we can say that 3 hydrogens are being replaced by your R. So these are all the your primary, secondary and your tertiary amines. So in primary, 1 hydrogen atom, in secondary, 2, and your tertiary, all the 3 hydrogen is being replaced by your alkyl. So that is the classification of our amines. And when we talk about the preparation, there are different methods which we are using in order to prepare amines. What are all the methods? There are, we can say it as reduction of your nitro compounds. We can prepare amines by reduction of the nitro compounds. So when we say reduction of your nitro compounds, we could easily say that nitro compounds are reduced to amines by passing hydrogen gas in the presence of finely divided nickel, palladium or platinum. And this reduction with metals can be done even in acidic medium. So nitroalkanes can also be reduced to their corresponding alka amines. So there are different methods or there are different reducing agents which we can use in order to prepare amines. And second method which we say it is called as ammonolysis of your alkyl halide. The carbon hydrogen bond actually in your alkyl or benzyl halide, they can be easily, you can cleave it by using a nucleophile. We can use a nucleophile in order to cleave the bond, and then you can reach up in forming an alkyl or benzyl halide, and then when it is reacting with ethanolic solution of ammonia, it will actually undergo nucleophilic substitution reaction in which the halogen compound, you will replace it by NH2 group. And the process of your breaking or cleavage of your bond between your C and X by your ammonia molecule, we call the term as ammonolysis. We call the term as ammonolysis. And of course, do remember the reaction should be carried out at a temperature of 373 Kelvin. It should be carried out at a temperature of 373 Kelvin. But when ammonia, the disadvantage of this process is when we take ammonia in excess, primary amine is formed as your main product. But when we are using or when we are taking alkyl halide in excess, quaternary ammonium salt is being formed as their main product. Hence, and this method is not suitable for preparing your aryl amines. This method is not suitable for preparing aryl amines. So nitro compounds, we can reduce it by using your nickel as the catalyst. And finally divided platinum or palladium you can use in order to prepare amines at room temperature. And aliphatic amines are basically stronger than your NH3. So on the basis of solvation effect of the order, when we talk, we can say that aliphatic amines, the order is your primary amine, secondary amine, and then tertiary. So it is very important to know the order and reduction. So, and the third methods we say is we can prepare amines by reduction of the amides. The amides on reduction with your lithium aluminium hydride. The amides on reduction with your lithium aluminium hydride. We can prepare your amines as RCH2NH2. So we could get amines by reduction of your amides in presence of lithium aluminium hydride. And Gabriel phthalimide synthesis is used for the preparation of actually the primary amides, where your phthalimide will be treated with ethanolic potassium hydroxide in order to form the potassium salt, and then on heating with alkyl halide, and further it should undergo hydrolysis and it will give you amine. So it is very important to know the methods of preparation of amines. What are all the methods can be used in order to prepare amines? And when we talk about the physical properties, basically we should understand that the lower aliphatic amines are actually gases in nature with a fishy smell. And if we say primary amines where you're with three or more carbon atoms, then they are liquid and still higher, then it would be considered to be a solid. And basically the lower aliphatic amines are soluble in water because they can form hydrogen bond with water molecule, and of course the solubility will decrease as there is an increase in molar mass of amine due to increase in size of the hydrophobic alkyl part. So higher amines are essentially, of course, they will be insoluble in water, and amines are then soluble in organic solvents like alcohol, ether, benzene, any organic solvent. And when we talk about the boiling point, primary and secondary amines are basically having intermolecular association because of your hydrogen bonding. Since it has hydrogen bonding between nitrogen of one and hydrogen of another molecule, the intermolecular association is actually more in your primary amines compared to the secondary amines, as there are two hydrogen bonds available for hydrogen bond formation. So of course we can say that tertiary amines will not have any intermolecular association because we do not have any hydrogen bond formation, and hence the order can be primary will be greater than secondary and then tertiary. So since the intermolecular hydrogen bonding in primary amines can be in stronger. And when we say about the chemical properties of your amines, amines will basically behave as a nucleophile because of the presence of unshared electron pair. Because of the presence of unshared electron pair, we have that it behaves as an nucleophile. And primary, secondary, and tertiary amines, of course, they will differ in the reaction because the bond, that is your hydrogen bonding, will change in primary, secondary, and tertiary. And when we talk about the basicity of amines is they are basic in nature and they will form salt when it is reacting with acid. They are basic in nature and they will form salt when it is reacting with acid. And amine salt, when it is treated with a base, like we can take it as your sodium hydroxide, they will give you back the parent amine. So basically amines are basic in nature. In we can say that they are nature wise it's basic. And yes, of course, when we are talking about the property, that is your alkylation, what do we say in the term of your alkylation and acylation? So alkylation is amines will undergo alkylation on reaction with your alkyl halide. It will react with your alkyl halide. And of course, when we are saying acylation, the reaction of your aliphatic and aromatic primary and secondary amine with your acid chlorides or anhydrides or esters, we can say by your nucleophilic substitution reaction, that term we say it as acylation, that is reaction of your aliphatic and aromatic primary and secondary amine with acid chloride, anhydrides and ester by nucleophilic substitution reaction. We say it as acylation. And the product which will be obtained by acylation, we call it as amides. And so in the same way, even amines can also react with your benzoyl chloride, and that reaction is called as benzoylation. The reaction is called as benzoylation. And we are having a test, that is carbalamine reaction, we can say, or aliphatic and aromatic primary amines on heating with chloroform will give you ethanolic potassium hydroxide, which will form isocyanides or carbalamines, which will be giving actually a foul smell. Isocyanides or carbalamines, which are giving foul smelling substance, and secondary and tertiary amines will basically not show this reaction. Hence, this reaction is known as carbalamine reaction or isocyanide test. And this is used to test for the presence of primary amines. This method is being used in order to test the primary amines. Aromatic amines, if we say, it will react with your nitrous acid at low temperature to give you diazonium salt, which is very important class of your compound, which is being used in synthesis of various aromatic compounds. So in the same way, benzene sulfonyl chloride can be formed, that is Hinsberg reagent, C6H5SO2Cl. We call it as your Hinsberg reagent. So there are different properties which is being used, that is your benzene sulfonyl chloride with primary amines will give you ethylene benzene or sulfoamide. So when we talk about electrophilic substitution reaction, that is your bromination. Aniline will react with bromine water at room temperature to give you 2,4,6-tribromoaniline. Because when we say it as your, that is 2,4,6-tribromoaniline. So when I say that high reactivity of aromatic amines, problem will occur because during electrophilic substitution reaction, it occurs as ortho and para position. So for example, if I take aniline, if I take an NH3, so here, then if it is reacting with your bromine, it will give you 2,4,6-tribromoaniline. So we are having here as your Br, Br, and then Br. So we say it as 2,4,6-tribromoaniline plus your 3HBr. And in order to prepare your monosubstituted aniline, when we need NH2 group can be controlled by protecting a NH2 group by acetylization with acetic anhydride, and then we can go for your substitution reaction. Then we can land up to our substitution reaction. And the most important concept of your electrophilic substitution, you can say that it can undergo nitration, bromination, and sulfonation. Nitration, you will have direct nitration of aniline, which will help you in carrying out or oxidation product in addition to the nitro derivatives. So we can say in the strongly acidic medium, aniline is protonated to form your anilinium. And the basic character of anilinium is it is a meta-directing group. Anilinium is a meta-directing group. The same way we can say sulfonation. Aniline can react with concentrated sulfuric acid to form anilinium hydrogen sulfate, which if you try to heat on further heating, it will give you sulfuric acid at a temperature of 453 to 473 Kelvin, and that will produce para-aminobenzene. It will produce para-aminobenzene, which is known as, or you can say it as your sulfonic acid, that is sometimes also called as sulfonilic acid, and that is considered as the major product. And the next part of our chapter is diazonium salt. So general formula of your diazonium salt is Rn2 plus X minus, where R is nothing but the aryl group, X is the halogen, that is can be chlorine, bromine, HSO4, BF4 minus, and the N2 plus group is actually called as the diazonium salt. And diazonium salt are basically named by suffixing diazonium to the parent hydrocarbon from whichever we are trying to form the diazonium salt, and then followed by that we will have the name of the anion, that can be chloride, hydrogen sulfate, anything. For example, we can say C6H5N2 plus Cl minus, and the name for this is benzene diazonium chloride. Benzene diazonium chloride. If suppose I have C6H5N2 plus HSO4 minus, we can say it as benzene diazonium hydrogen sulfate. Benzene diazonium hydrogen sulfate, and primary aliphatic amines will form highly unstable alkyl diazonium salt, or we can say primary aromatic amines will form arene diazonium salt, which are basically stable to form a short time in solution at low temperature. And diazonium salt can be prepared by your benzene diazonium chloride is basically prepared by reaction of aniline with hydro with nitrous acid at 273 to 278 Kelvin. Can react with nitrous acid at a temperature of about 273 to 278 Kelvin. So benzene diazonium chloride is being prepared by the reaction of aniline with nitrous acid at 273 Kelvin to 278 Kelvin. And nitrous acid is being produced in the reaction mixture by using sodium nitride with hydrochloric acid. And then the conversion of your primary aromatic amines into diazonium salt, when we do the term, it is called as diazotization. Diazotization. So we say, and because of the instability, the diazonium salt is basically not stored and it is used immediately after its preparation. Since it is unstable, or that is why it is not being stored, and as and when it is being prepared, it is used. Because benzene diazonium chloride, when we talk about the physical properties, it is actually a colorless crystalline solid, and this is readily soluble in water, and it is stable in cold, but it will start reacting with warm water, and this will decompose easily in dry state. It will decompose easily in dry state. Benzene diazonium fluoroborate. Actually, it is a water insoluble and it is stable at room temperature. And when we say about chemical properties, there are two forms, or we can say two reaction into which diazonium salt can be divided. That is reaction involving displacement of nitrogen and reaction involving retention of diazo group. reaction involving retention of diazo group. So reaction involving displacement of nitrogen, when we say diazonium group being a very good leaving group is being substituted by other groups that you can take it as your Cl minus, Br minus, Cn minus, and so on, which will actually displace nitrogen from the aromatic ring, and the nitrogen formed will escape from the reaction mixture as a gas. And when we say replacement by halide or cyanide ion, so the Cl minus or your Br minus or your Cn minus, they are actually your nucleophiles which can easily be introduced in your benzene ring in presence of copper, and the reaction name is called as Sandmeyer reaction. The naming reactions are very, very important when your organic part is concerned. The reaction is called as Sandmeyer reaction. And chlorine or bromine can also be introduced in the benzene ring by treating your benzene diazonium salt solution with your respective or corresponding halogen, whichever we are taking, but the condition is presence of your copper powder. When you are having presence of copper powder, then the reaction is called as Gutterman reaction. The reaction is called as Gutterman reaction. But it is considered that the product which is formed in your Sandmeyer reaction is better than the product formed in the Gutterman reaction, because the only difference we are having is we are having the nucleophiles are being reduced, that is easily introduced in the benzene ring in presence of your copper 1 ion, and here we are having in the presence of your copper powder, and the reaction, the product which is being formed is in Sandmeyer, it is more beneficial or it is more better than the Gutterman reaction. And it's not only chlorine, iodine is not easily being introduced into the benzene ring directly, but when we try to react the diazonium salt solution with potassium iodide, then we get the product as iodobenzene. The product can be formed as your iodobenzene. So for example, we can say N2 plus Cl minus, when it is reacting with your potassium iodide, it can give you iodobenzene plus potassium chloride plus your N2. So this is possible with your fluorobasic acid also, you can get as your diazonium fluoroborate. And then we talk about the second type of reaction, that is reaction involving retention of your diazo group, and that is called as coupling reaction. The azo products are being obtained that will have an extended conjugate system having both the aromatic ring that is joined by your N double bond N. And these compounds are basically colored and it is being used as dyes. It is being used as dyes, and benzene diazonium chloride will actually react with your phenol, in which your phenol molecule at its para position is being coupled with diazonium salt to form your para hydroxy azobenzene. Hydroxyazobenzene. And this type of reaction we gave the name as your coupling reaction. That's all we have about the chapter here, amines. Based on our analysis, if we look at the points, we can say aniline will not undergo Friedel-Crafts reaction due to salt formation with your aluminium chloride and the Lewis acid, which is being used as a catalyst. And when we talk about Huffman method, this method gives a mixture of your amines which are very difficult to separate in the laboratory. That is why it is not being used for the preparation of amines. And when we say lower aliphatic amines, yes, of course, they will be soluble in water because they can form hydrogen bonding with water. But solubility will decrease with increase in your molar mass of amines due to increase in the size of your hydrophobic group. And of course, the functional distillation is a method which is being used for the separation of amines, which is based on the boiling point of amines, and it is used in your industry. And only aliphatic and aromatic amines are on heating with chloroform and ethylolic potassium hydroxide will form your isocyanides or carbyl amines. So based on this analysis, let us try taking a test from the chapter. And here you are having test for different subjects. If we let us click on chemistry, and here you will have chapter wise test, and you could see the bubble. Each bubble represents a test, and if the color of the bubble is green, that means the test is already completed. Blue, it indicates that the test is yet to be taken. Orange or yellow, it is in progress. And R is a random test for your additional practice. But green test is taken, it does not mean that you cannot take that test again. You can take the same test n number of times unless and until you feel confident on the questions available in that particular test. So let us take a test. Which reagent can provide distinction between aliphatic NH2 group and your aromatic NH2 group? As we discussed, it's your benzene diazonium chloride will help you to find out the distinction between your NH2 group and your aromatic NH2 group. So option D should be the right answer. Let us save that and go to next. In the following compound, the order of basicity is. The order of basicity when we are talking about electron releasing group will make your aniline more basic, and electron attracting group will make it less basic. So immediately we can say that electron releasing group available here is OCH3. Hence the order will be your 3, 2, 3, 1 and then 2. So we can say 3, 1 and 2, option B. Because wherever you are having electron releasing group, it will become more basic, and electron attracting group, it will make it as less basic. So let us save that and go to next. Which of the following order is correct regarding the relative basicity of amines? Once again, the same concept we can say. So carboxyl amine is actually an aliphatic amine, and that will be more basic than your aromatic amines because of the delocalization of your lone pair electrons on N to the benzene ring, and larger the number of your para groups, more will be the delocalization, and that means they will be less basic. Hence we can say that the order should be 3, 1 and 2 again. So let us save that and go to next. The number of resonating structure of the below compounds. When we say number of resonating structure, it can be many, that is your NH2 locations can keep changing. So totally if you try to calculate, there will be total in 5 resonating groups for this particular structure. Let us save that and go to next. The order of increasing basic strength among your para amino benzaldehyde, nitroaniline, bromoaniline. So when we are talking about the same basic strength, means your electron releasing group will actually increase the basicity of aniline, while attracting group will decrease the basicity. So the correct order can be your 3, 3, 1 and 2. So let us say that. The correct sequence regarding base strength. Now we are talking about your aliphatic amines in your gaseous phase. So when we are saying electron releasing nature of your alkyl group, alkylamine, it will actually push the electron towards your nitrogen, which will make the unshared electron pair more available for sharing with the proton of acids. So when we say substituted ammonium ion formed will from the amine, it will get stabilized because of the dispersal of your positive charge. So alkyl amines will be stronger base than ammonia because of your plus I effect. And the basic nature of your aliphatic amines should increase with increase in your number of alkyl group. So the order should be here T, 3 alkyl, 2, 1 and none. That means this should be the correct order. Let us save that and go to next. Among this, the order of their increasing basic strength. Same concept we can apply, but the condition is NO2 group is actually considered to be your electron withdrawing group by induction from all position, but it can be extended bonding from your positive ortho to para position. Hence, we can say para isomers is going to be less basic than your meta isomers. So, your meta first greater than your para and then greater than your ortho. So, our order should be 1 lesser than 2 lesser than 3. So, let us save that and go to next. The correct order of base strength of your 3 isomers of methoxyaniline is methoxyaniline. Concept is same, but each category, if you are seeing basic strength is being compared in many questions here, but for each category we are having different rules to be applied. Like here we are going to talk about your resonance from ortho and para position, which will increase the availability of electron on your N atom, making them more basic. So we can say ortho bromo will be weaker than your ortho isomers are weaker than your para isomers because of the ortho effect in which your solvation of cation is being sterically hindered. Hence we can say our B option is correct. So let us save that and go to next. The major product obtained in the following reaction. The major product which is being obtained in the following reaction. Once again, it's very simple that it should be your, as we did now, aniline when it is reacting with bromine, it should be 2,4,6 tribromo aniline, and that option is here. So our option B should be correct. Let us save that and go to next. The reduction of nitrobenzene with zinc will actually give you the product as your reduction of will give the product as your NHOH Zn in presence of your NH4Cl. So this should be your product, that is your A. It is a well-known reaction. Let us save that and go to next. Hinsberg reagent is, which one we call it as a Hinsberg reagent? Benzene sulfonyl chloride, that is your C6H5SO2Cl is known as Hinsberg reagent. Benzene sulfonyl chloride is considered to be your Hinsberg reagent. Let us save that and go to next. Sandmeyer reaction can be represented by copper powder is actually your Gutterman reaction, and we have to talk about Sandmeyer. So that should be the option as your CUBR, because we should have CUCL, CUBR, whichever it is applicable. So option B is the right among the given option for your Sandmeyer reaction. So this should be the correct option. Let us save that and go to next. Which of the following statement is correct, we have to say. So when we are saying about the correct statement, electron releasing substituent decreases the basicity of aniline. No. Electron withdrawing increases the basicity of aniline. No. Nitration of aniline is carried out by first converting aniline to acetanilide. So here first A and B is vice versa. Option A and B is vice versa. And then option C alone is correct. That means C is correct. Let us save that and go to next. The major product obtained on heating. The major product which can be obtained on heating is, the major product is, this reaction is called as actually Huffman elimination reaction, and this is sometimes also called as exhaustive methylation, where in this process when we say amines is reacted to create a tertiary amine and an alkene by treating with excess methyl iodide with silver oxide, water and heat. So the above reaction, this one is called as your Huffman elimination reaction, where actually your removal of H atom from your beta carbon is done. Hence the product obtained will be an alkene, and that should be your option E. So let us save that and go to next. A positive carbalamine test is given by which test? Carbalamine test is for finding out your primary, secondary and your tertiary. So as we saw, only your primary amines will give you carbalamine test, primary. So in the given option, we could see that option A is actually a primary amine. So that should be the answer. Let us save that. Since we have completed all the 15 questions, let us end test. So here we have done all the 15 questions to be correct. That is why it is given green in color. But in case if we have gone wrong anywhere, it would be represented in red. And if we leave any question to be unanswered, it will be orange in color. But in case if you go wrong anywhere and the color is red, you can click on that particular question and check the question, that is your right option, with proper explanation. Hence this would be useful for you to find out that which is the right answer and what is the explanation for it. This way it will help you to know the right answer with a proper explanation, and you can check the revision notes, you can revise and then try taking the test more than one time or n number of time, unless and until you feel confident. That is all we have for today. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us with the help of the ask feature which is available here, and also you can reach out to us with the help of Telegram chat application. But in case if you need any additional help on any chapter, you can reach out to Clay6 management for one-to-one tutoring from Clay6 tutor on any subject, that can be physics, chemistry or biology, wherever you are finding it difficult. Thank you students. We'll catch you up again tomorrow with